Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me at my tying bench here once again. And at the moment I'm tying up some different sulphur patterns. In the river that I fish in my area, the sulphurs are starting now, so I'm just tying up a few different variations to add to my box. And this one is I call the snowshoe sulphur. It's tied more or less like the usual, if you know you're familiar with the usual pattern, except for the wing, the body and the tail are different, but the wing is snowshoe hare. Very good floating pattern. And I generally time, like this is on a 14, I'll time down to an 18 usually to match whatever sulphurs you see on your water. Just change your wing length and body and tail accordingly. So I thought you might want to join me on this one. So we'll get this device here, fresh hook in, we'll get going. Okay, I just have a standard size 14. This is a barbless dry fly hook here. You can use whatever you wish that you generally tie your dry flies on will work. So we'll get this guy locked in the vise here. Alrighty. And for thread I'm using some light yellow denville 6/0 here. Alrighty, so we'll start our thread. What I'll do is go right behind the eye here and start back, and I'm going to wrap back about halfway on the shank here. Come back up halfway on my thread that I started, and that's where my wing will go. Right there in the center of our thread base there. Now I have my snowshoe foot here. What I like to do is, in about the middle there, you see there's some grayish color fur. I like to get a little bit of that in the wing as well. So I'm going to sort of just cut a little chunk out of here and go from there. Alright, let's see what I get here. Alright. Okay, you'll get a bunch like that. I just pull all that under fur out there. We don't want all that on the wing. Get too much here, you can always adjust it accordingly. And pull some of the longer hairs out. You want a decent wing on, that's what helps it float very well. It can also be fished as an emerger too as well. But that wing will keep it up floating very well. Alright, so now I'm just plucking some of those curly ones out. We want the wing to be about the length of the shank, like on any dry fly. So I'll come up here with a pinch wrap around, pinch that down in place, make 1, 2, 3, 4 wraps, check it. Okay, that looks good. Wrap back a couple more wraps, then I'm going to come in and trim this on an angle here. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be on an angle, but just trim it that way. Alright, and we'll just wrap back towards the bend here. Okay, now the tail, I'm just going to pull some of the longer ones out. There we go. The tail is some mallard flank dyed woodduck. If you have natural woodduck, go ahead and use that. And I just want a very small amount of fibers for the tail, probably 6 or 7 fibers is plenty. Like so. Here you don't want a heavy tail on this fly. And I like that to be about almost the hook shank length. Okay, we'll bring it up around, tie it on top. Just like so there. Alright, that looks pretty good folks, right there. So, find that down, and I'm going to come in and trim off the excess here. Okay, I'll cover the rest of that up. Okay, now I'm going to move up to my wing here. Check that, I want to move forward a few more wraps there, folks. Alright, so we're going to hold that wing up. I'm just going to build a little thread dam in front for starters here, just to prop it up a little bit. Like so. Okay. This stuff can be a little tricky to work with, to work around it and stuff with your thread, but just take your time. Now we're going to move back ways here towards the tail. Now, for the dubbing, I mixed the dubbing mixture up to match the naturals in my area, the body color. And this is the ones, most of the sulphurs I see or I fish are a yellowish orange color like so. So I mix this dubbing up myself, but just use whatever dubbing matches the sulphurs where you fish and for the body. So we'll dub some of this on here and get our body going. Get a nice tight noodle there and a little thicker towards the end of it. We want a little bit of taper there towards our wing and throw it around the wing there and the head. So we'll get that noodle a little bit thicker there. Alright, so we'll start to work that onto the body. We'll go right towards the tail there, make our first wrap. Okay, and wrap forward like so. And we'll just get that little bit of taper as we go there. As you can see, we're going to need some more, so I'll get a little bit more dubbing. Dub that on. There's a lot of guard hairs in this particular dubbing, but it doesn't hurt it. The bugginess never hurts on a trout fly, I find anyway. So we want to go right behind our wing here. Then we'll hold it up, jump in front here. Okay, and obviously we're going to need a little bit more. I'm going to just trim a couple guard hairs out there. But it's starting to look pretty good there now, folks. So a little more dubbing in the front, and we'll finish this guy up. Okay, just like so here. Alright, that should be fine. That right there should finish it up for us. Okay, hold up on the wing once again. And I'm going to make a wrap or two in front of that. Around the back there, and jump my thread in front. And that looks good to me. So, see a few hairs where they got trapped, just trim them out if you wish. You don't have to, like I was saying, but I'll trim these out for the video. Alright. Well, there should be another size 14 snowshoe sulphur. It's a very good pattern to match the hatch when their sulphurs are coming off. And I also tie the parachute version in that, but this one's quick and easy to tie and it's effective, so thought I'd share this one with you. So next is just a couple whip finishes here, so grab my whip finisher and we'll throw in a couple 3 or 4 turn whip finishes at the eye here. I'm just going to hold the wing back out of the way there, it makes things a little easier. Okay, there's one, snug that down tight. Come in, we'll do another. Alright. Okay, snug that nice and tight. Come in and snip that off there. I got a little cutter on my whip finisher. There we go. And there is another size 14 snowshoe sulphur mayfly imitation. Pretty simple to tie. You can tie a bunch of these pretty quickly. Nothing hard about these at all, and it's a very effective little fly when the sulphurs are coming off. So the one thing left I'll do, if you see a few hairs that are a little bit longer than what you wish to have in the fly, you can always just pull them out, they come out, or snip them out. A couple more hairs on the bottom. Okay, one long one there, I'll snip, there we go. Okay, so then instead of UV resin, I like to take a little bit of head cement here and just put a little dab on the head. I don't want too much on this guy. You don't really need any as far as that goes, but I'll just put a little on for added security. Because I've got 2 whip finishes there, that's plenty. There we go. Finished deal. So anyway, if you have a sulphur hatch, and I would recommend tying some of these guys up if you have the materials. Very simple one to tie. Like a lot of the flies, simple enough that it catches fish. So I want to thank you for joining me once again. And if you haven't seen my videos, this is the first time watching, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button, I'd appreciate that. And also I'll throw in a like, that helps as well. And I'd like to hear from you, so if you have any comments, put them down below. So like I always say, everyone out there, happy tying, and I hope to see you all again soon, and so long for now, folks.